Casie Rogers-Adams is our guest here on the program, and she recently expanded her family. Casie, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, and everything okay?
Yeah.
Going
Beautiful
well?
Little boy.
Healthy?
Yep.
Happy?
Yes, very happy.
And the name?
Hudson Allen.
His name? I'm sorry?
Hudson Allen.
Hudson Allen. Why Hudson? That's a lovely name.
I always get asked this question all the time. One of my drum majors last year, her last name was Hudson, and Melody Hudson. So this girl was like a phenomenon. I mean, she's like the best student leader. I influenced her to do band in high school. So I always said, I'm going to name a kid, you know, not specifically after you, but I always like the name Hudson. So she did ask me, she's like, he's named after me, right? I said, yes, he's partially named after you. So
I'm so stealing that for a character.
Yeah.
I like Hudson. That's a good name.
It is. What last name would go with it?
I don't know.
It's got to be something like, you know, Charles
Go by
Emerson
Hud?
Winchester III.
Huddy. My little girl, Riley, she calls him Huddy Buddy.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good name. I like
Yep.
that. Yeah. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Sleeping well?
Yes, 4 to 5 hours a night. We've hit that, so I couldn't ask for more.
And I understand you were like doing work-related stuff the next day?
Yeah, actually, I conducted a concert the week after he was born.
Yeah.
I told my kids I would be there, so I said, unless, you know, I'm not good, I'll be there.
That's astounding.
So,
Do you ever sleep?
yeah, I do sleep.
Sleep
I always
wastes
have to
time.
be busy, though.
I could be doing something instead of sleeping, right?
Yes.
And you are doing something coming up here recently.
Yes.
In the very near future, this Saturday.
Yes, this Saturday is our annual MHS Jazz Night. We call it Java and Jazz. It's at 5 o'clock, so 5 to 8 p.m. At Martinsburg High School in the cafeteria. We'll have performances by the Martinsburg High School Steel Drum Ensemble. We have our guest school come for the second year in a row, South Middle School Jazz Band. So they'll come and perform right after us, about 5:45 to 6:15. And then we'll have about another 30-minute segment from our second period jazz band, and then we'll end the night with our third period jazz band.
And how much are the tickets?
Tickets are $10 for ages 10 and up, and then 5 to 10, $5, and then 5 and under is free.
And how do you get the tickets?
So I actually posted this morning on our Bands of the Berg Facebook page our website link. It's pretty long, so I just went ahead and posted that on there. So if the community can follow Bands of the Berg, they can go straight to our link, purchase them. Tickets will be sold at the door, but we prefer that they're ordered online. There's no tax or anything like that online, but it'll just help us get a head count of everything for the weekend.
How many are you expecting? Or hoping?
Last year we had about 250, 300, I think it was. It was a pretty nice event. It's Java and Jazz, so what that means is we'll have coffee, and it's basically like a dessert night. So folks, once they buy a ticket, can come in and grab some dessert. And it's kind of like a mingle session, not really like a concert to sit down and listen, just kind of background music. But we normally have lots of people from the community that come out. Desserts will be donated. We have raffle baskets, silent auctions. So it's a big fundraiser for us, for our jazz program specifically, to pay, you know, festival fees that are upcoming, or to purchase new instruments. We've had to do that recently with the upgrowing band, with our projected numbers. So any really people that we can get come out, help support us, and it'll be a good night.
And is this the last event of the school year?
Oh, no. No, this is part of the reason why I went back to work starting today. So we have so many things going on. So we have that this Saturday. Next Saturday, May 3rd, is the Apple Blossom Parade, which we're in Division 1, number 120, I believe, is our unit number. We're actually going first in that in Division 1 because it's prom for Martinsburg High School. But I wasn't going to do it, but my seniors, and this is partly why I came back to work so soon, this senior class, I know I've talked about this before, I've had them every day since 6th grade, so going on 7 years. So for them, I couldn't take off the rest of the school year. You know, I wanted to soak it all in with them. But they voted to do the parade, considering they had prom as well. So they worked with us. We got us in Division 1, so we're going to do that. And then get the kids to prom right after. And then after that, we have our spring concert on Wednesday, May 7th at Shepherd University at 7 o'clock in the Frank Center Theater. And then we're going to do some performances around the area with drumline and jazz band at Orchard View, Berkeley Heights, upcoming in May. And then we'll top off the year with attending the Strawberry Festival in Buchanan, May 16th through the 18th.
You know, I'm always amazed, for those of you who are just listening on the radio, you're not getting the visuals of this on TV 10 or on our Facebook live stream. She does all that without notes. It's pretty incredible.
What about the summer, Casie? Do you do anything?
Yeah, we start band camp, and actually this year will be a little crazy, and we're still trying to figure that out. Most people know they're building us a new band room outside of our current band room, which is awesome. But they've started construction basically in our current band room now, so it will displace us for the summer, but we're actually going to use South Middle. But we will start band camp, I believe it's July 21st, the last 2 weeks of July. We'll have July 21st, that week through the 25th will be music camp, it'll be percussion camp, color guard camp, and then the week after will be band camp from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. with all the students.
Now, do all the students that go to band camp, are they from Martinsburg, or do you have students from Hedgesville and Musselman as well?
It's just the students that are enrolled
Yeah.
At Martinsburg High School.
Yeah. You mentioned earlier for this Java and Jazz group from the second period, third period. Are there any difference in talent or experience, or they just happen which study room or which group they get
Well,
into?
actually, this is the first year. I don't know. Quote me on this for sure, but I think this is the first year that Martinsburg High School has had 2 full jazz ensemble class periods ever. So second period, it's just the kids. We just name that the kids that are in second period, and
Yeah.
third period, the
Okay.
kids that are in third period. But they're very equal in talent.
Okay.
We have some seniors in each group. We have freshmen in each group. So I mean, they're pretty balanced out, and both groups on Saturday will play a pretty significant set list.
Sure.
So let's talk about the set list. There's jazz, and there's jazz.
Mm-hmm.
There's Dixieland. There's the bebop. What kind of jazz are you doing?
We're doing a little mixture of both. Since I haven't been there, in the last 6 weeks, my assistant band director, Hannah Abreg, has been doing a phenomenal job, and I just let her pick all the charts. So it's stuff like Basie Straight Ahead, like traditional standard jazz that, the kids aren't really, they've heard it, but they've never played it. And I always say, if you're a jazz musician, you at least have to play some of these charts once.
And are there vocals too?
I believe one of the charts is a vocal, but we don't have anybody singing.
So the makeup of the jazz band, is that a subset of marching band? Is that the starting point and then they switch off, or is it a standalone?
This is a standalone class. So the kids come in and do auditions. Actually, tomorrow we have our auditions for next year's 2 jazz ensembles. So we're hitting the ground running. We don't waste any time. But we're having, so basically the jazz classes, the kids audition and then they sign up. And once they audition, we place them into which class we think they should be in. And it's basically, the class depends on like what we need instrumentation of.
And there's no strings, right? It's all.
No, there are strings at Martinsburg High School, but I don't do that.
What is the most sought after instrument?
I would say we need trombone players.
Okay.
We have a lot of trumpet players, a lot of saxophone players. I mean, we haven't had that. Saxophone has been like what we've needed in the past to kind of fill out the 2 ensembles. But we've got a lot of good kids coming over from the middle school, so it'll be very, very competitive.
Do the other schools have a jazz ensemble as well?
Yes.
Okay.
I know Jefferson High School has 2 jazz ensembles. I believe Washington High School does as well. I'm not sure about Spring Mills and Hedgesville, but I know Musselman has 2 as well.
So I coach high school football at Oakdale High School in Frederick County, Maryland, and on occasion I have to pull weight room duty, and the kids get to play their own music, and it's just awful. It's got nothing to do with music. I have no idea what that is, but it has nothing to do with actual music. So this is what these kids listen to as they grow up. How do they become interested in playing a trumpet or a saxophone or a horn of any style when you're not influenced by that music as a kid? When I was a kid, saxophones were huge. Like every rock band seemed to have a horn section, and a sax player was the star of almost everything that happened. That's kind of gone. We don't really see that anymore. So I could see how kids in my generation wanted to play the sax. Why are kids playing horns now?
It's funny that you say that. I would say for our group, it's really cool. I have a lot of freshmen that they come up and they say, "Hey, can I write a song?" And I'm like, yeah, sure. And the kids will go nuts over the song that they're, arranging. And I'm like, I've never heard that song before. And they're like, I promise if we play this at a football game, people will lose their minds. So I let them be creative. I mean, there's multiple arrangements out there right now of music that they listen to, that's kind of influenced them. And I'll go back and I'll listen to the original version. And, me, sometimes I'm like, what in the world? I would not listen to this. But I mean, we've done it. We've played stuff that kids have arranged, and the crowd, I mean, they're right. They love it. So
they hear
that kind of inspires them.
They hear pop music and figure out a way to adapt a horn to fit in with it. Is that what you're saying?
They do pop music. They've done rap music. I mean, they do it all.
So that's creative.
It's pretty cool. Yes.
And that's really cool of you to inspire that creativity.
I let them go for it.
Right.
So in your classroom work as a teacher, is there theory at some point? Do you teach the?
We do have theory in our curriculum, but we don't have a class for it. We've never had enough kids that would sign up for it. But we do try to, put that into what we're teaching, whether it be concert band and doing, different key changes and scales and picking different pieces of music that, will incorporate those things. And then Hannah, who's been my assistant band director as she was filling in for me, I know she started doing a lot of different theory and stuff, music theory and stuff for the jazz bands, and the kids really like that. So I'm going to continue that once we go back.
You said you let the kids go for it. Do you ever find the point that you made a mistake, you should pull back, and they've gone too far?
Yes, and sometimes I have to bite my tongue, but I want to be, for my own word. So, we may not play like this 8-minute piece that they have. We might only play like a clip of it, but at least it's getting them out there. And I actually had I think it was 2 or 3 freshman students that I have this year. One came from South last year, one came from North, and they've become good friends. And they sent me a message the other day and said, hey, we're writing a piece for concert band. One's doing percussion, one's doing brass, and one's doing woodwinds. Would you mind if we play this in the next couple of years before we graduate? So I listened to it. I was like, wow, that sounds really good. I said, actually, let's, we got so much stuff going on this year. Let's shoot for it next year, maybe in the spring.
Cool.
So
drums still very popular?
Oh, yes. Everybody wants to play the drums.
How do you work them all in?
Well, we do auditions. We have auditions coming for that too. We take drummers in jazz band. So one jazz band this year has 3. One jazz band has 4. But like I said, everybody wants to play drums. But with auditions, we're really trying to start on, okay, you really got to know what you're doing. Because we're just getting to that point, so to make it competitive. As far as drumline goes, for marching band, those students just turn into the percussion section in general, so everybody gets a part when we switch to concert band. But for percussion this year, we're going to have the largest drum line I think Martinsburg has ever had.
Cool.
7 snare drums. We actually had to order another snare, got a grant for it, which was pretty cool. So it's going to be large, and, we told our upcoming kids and we told our current kids, just because you're a senior, you're not guaranteed anymore. So if you don't showed up and prepared, you
got to compete.
Yeah, you got to compete. So we have a rubric that we use for auditions so that we can always go back when a kid asks, why didn't I get this? We can explain to it. My percussion instructor, Nathan Bazinski, is very good. He's very talented at his craft. And, I hire him as the percussion instructor. So I let him do his thing. And then, if we, as, marching band staff, have to, give our suggestions, we will.
Have you ever punished your drummers with Ravel's Bolero?
No. I have taken their drums away from them, though.
Nice.
I did. My first year, we got new percussion equipment, and I think the band was adjusting to a new director, and it was just off the chain. And I tried and tried and tried and couldn't do it, and I finally was like, yeah, I'm just going to take the drums away. And we actually took them to my basement and took the new ones to my basement, and they stayed there for a couple weeks, and they used the old stuff. And after that point, we haven't had any issues 4 years later.
How'd they earn them back?
They were just, they cut out the talking. They were very respectful. They listened to the drum major's commands. That was the big thing. They weren't listening to the drum major's commands. And at that point, we only had 75 kids. And I said for myself, like, okay, once we get bigger, they're going to have to follow commands. And, they learned. So, and I mean, we got the point across, and now they're very respectful for the equipment as well.
So how big is your jazz ensemble? Or are your jazz ensembles?
Total, in between the two, we have about 46 kids.
And does each section, as you go along classically, there's a solo?
Oh yeah,
through each of the
we've
sections?
been doing a lot of improvisation and stuff like that, and the kids have been, volunteering, and sometimes we,
Oh, you allow riffs? They can. Oh, cool.
yeah, and sometimes we just tell them and say, okay, you're going to play a solo, and they look at you with big eyes, and then it comes their turn, and they just do it.
Cool.
So it's awesome.
Who's your bass player?
I have Tyler Shade in third period, who is actually one of our drum majors next year. He'll be a junior. And then I have Aiden Mesner also in third period, and then Camden Marpole in second period, who's
Is
a
it
freshman.
hard to find bass players? Are they all?
Actually, it is, yes.
Just double bass, standing bass?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we make them do, and they'll play electric sometimes, but we prefer that they do standing bass. But yeah, they're hard to come by. Right now, we're just we're scrounging them, and we're like, okay, if you can somewhat play bass, you're going to go play it. But all three of these guys are phenomenal.
Do you have the kids? Do they have to pay an instrument fee, or do they have to ultimately buy instruments, or what?
It's preferred that they have their own instruments, but there are students, like for example, I have a trumpet player who is a senior, Jacob Frattentero. He originally plays trumpet, but learned trombone to play in second period jazz. And he plays lead trumpet in third period jazz. So for that instrument, we were able to rent him an instrument just to get through jazz band.
I believe you are a force of nature, and I think like if you were in charge of the ditch digging club at Martinsburg, it would be populated and be the most popular club and whatever. I don't mean to make you blush or whatever. You're just a very impressive person with incredible energy and positivity. But when you started your job at Martinsburg High School, what do you think was the key to turning everything around?
I would say, well, we were coming through COVID, so it was, I would say, the work ethic of the kids, and switching anytime you switch a new teacher or director, it's always a big change. But I have very high standards for the kids, and there have been many times where I've second guessed myself, and I'm like, I don't know if this is too high, but I keep it. And, we get drum majors every year that help reinforce that. And the staff that I've hired is excellent. They have the same values that I have and standards. And we're really working as a big team. And the more kids and, staff members and parents that get involved that we get, it takes a lot to get all of them on board. But just holding the standard and not letting them falter from that. We have our own band handbook. We have a staff handbook that we've created. So, we've got different levels of things. We have our own discipline policy, where if kids aren't following, what we've asked of them after, so many, then, we remove them from the program. Thank goodness we haven't had to do that to anybody. But that's just really setting the stage. And it's neat to watch the kids do band, and then, they go into their other classes and other sports teams, and they carry those characteristics with them.
So you rattled off several things that when you read books about the 7 habits of highly successful people, it's like you hit all those things right there, right? You have high standards. We're going to be creative but disciplined, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to put competent people in charge of things and let them do their thing, right? And I'm going to inspire creativity and loyalty because of that. And you get all that when you do what you do.
And I think the kids, like watching us in the Cherry Blossom Parade and watching the footage, you can see that in the kids. And I think that's what I'm most proud of, because my goal is to build, citizens that can go out in the world and be successful. And, that's my biggest goal. And I think every kid right now is striving to do that.
And to have an adult, a teacher, a person in power say, I'm proud of you, and mean it.
I tell them all the time.
That means a lot.
Yeah, because some of those kids don't get that at home.
I know. What is your primary instrument?
Trumpet.
Okay.
Trumpet, and I've played a little bit of percussion, studied percussion secondary at Shepherd.
And can you fake all of them?
I can fake all of them but the flute. I know some kids watching
said
right
that
now,
last time
and a kid is going to call me out because they did later that day in class. They were like, we're glad you covered up yourself about the flute.
Have you ever seen that Dizzy Gillespie photo where his cheeks are out like
yes.
that? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Can we see it?
but the flute, I don't know. I just... I have no idea why I can't do it. No, I can play hot cross buns, but that's about the gist of
it. Give us the rundown once again on Saturday's Java and Jazz.
So Saturday, April 26th, starts at 5 o'clock, ends at 8. We'll have South Middle School Jazz Band, Martinsburg High School Steel Drum Ensemble, second period jazz for Martinsburg High School, third period jazz, silent auctions, raffle baskets, dessert, coffee, and good music.
And if you missed this, there are a few other opportunities to catch the band and the groups before the year ends.
Yes. Apple Blossom Parade on May 3rd.
That's the one in Winchester.
Yes, the one in Winchester. Spring concert on May 7th, 7 o'clock at Shepherd University in the Frank Center Theater. And then some different schools throughout Berkeley County. And then the Strawberry Festival is the big one, May 16th through the 18th in Buckhannon, West Virginia.
And if you want to contribute to the fundraising, but you can't make it in person, how do you do that?
You can always send a check to Martinsburg High School at 701 South Queen Street to my attention. And then you can make it out to MHS Band Boosters, and we'll throw it in our account. And trust me, we can use it.
Very good. And the final word is yours. Anything else you want to tell our audience about what you're doing?
I just hope everybody can come out on Saturday, and if you can't, you can catch us on, I think, a TV broadcast on the Apple Blossom Parade on May 3rd.
Very nice. Always great to see you, Casie, and
to see you guys.
congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
healthy baby.
Thank you.
Right,
Appreciate
good for
that.
you. Casie Rogers-Adams, and we take our final break here. I've got a final minute coming back.